Started. Okay, sorry I'm not in my usual spot. I am waiting outside for a plumber to fix a one of two leaks that a little rental place of mine has right now, and coordinate the plumber and the restoration people and the insurance people and all the other headache that comes along with dealing with this stuff. So thanks for being for being flexible. All right, tell me something good. Tell me what you're thankful for.
Waking up.
All right, I agree. That's a good one. What else?
I finished building this wall in front of my house yesterday to keep the rain away because my basement was flooding like forever. So it's finally, don't have to worry about that anymore.
Cool. Okay. Who else has got something? Who else wants to share?
Thankful for my family and those in my life.
I like that. I like that. Thank you.
And I picked up a buyer yesterday.
It looks like you're floating in the sky next to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. All right. You picked up a buyer yesterday, did you say?
I did. It was a referral.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about that. How did the referral walk us through that?
That it was from a past client and family friend, and her sister just moved up here from Florida, and so she reached out to me a couple of days ago and asked me some questions. So she finally connected me with her sister on yesterday.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you've already set the appointment?
I have.
Awesome, awesome. Are you going to be? Are you doing that as a digital meeting, or do you have like a Zoom account that you're sending her or sending him an invitation to, and walking them through any type of
I do not. And
buyer
this,
consultation?
I don't have a Zoom account, and I guess I need to make one.
Yeah.
She used to be a real estate agent in another state.
Okay.
I think it was in North Carolina.
So I would just treat her honestly like somebody who just a regular old buyer.
Okay.
Because more than likely there's at least one thing that is different in the buying process in the state of Georgia than what she's used to.
Okay.
And so I would just let her know, hey, I'm just going to walk you through the buyer process. I'm not going to, don't think I'm talking down to you or anything like that. I'm just sure that there's some things that are different, and I just want to walk you through those differences.
Okay. And she's been out of real estate for several years though, but I know in the past, just by knowing her sister, who I've worked with a couple times on some 2 transactions, buying and selling, it's been a while.
Good for you. Good.
Okay.
Just as a side note, I don't think I've said this in a while, but I believe that having a Zoom account and being able to use it and manipulate it and send invites and like really use it is a critical component to being in business right now.
Okay.
So you can do some research on what you can get for free. Like I think if you're talking to like if it's less than 2 or 3 people, then you can then it's unlimited. And if it's more than that, then they limit it to 40 minutes, I believe.
Okay.
Or I just signed up for an account where I get like a private meeting room and all of that. I paid $140 or $150 a year for that.
Okay.
And I just paid it up front. It's like whatever, $12 or $13 a year or a month. I'm sorry. And that's my tool, right? So everyone's got the same link. If you want to meet with me, we're always going to meet in this room. It's nice and simple. I can record everything, and it's nice and easy to use. So for those that are new to the group or new or don't have a Zoom account, that should be one of the top priorities today, to get in there and do a Zoom with a friend of yours or somebody, so you can kind of practice sharing screens and recording and manipulating it and pulling up PDFs, so you can say, hey, Lawanda, you're my potential buyer. I want to show you something. Watch, I'm going to share my screen. Say, hey, watch this graph or whatever. So you can really show your professionalism and your tech savviness with buyers and sellers in kind of the new age of real estate, if you will.
Okay. All right. Great deal. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, for the free one, it's up to 100 people for 40 minutes. And then
Oh,
for
wow.
one-on-ones, it's unlimited.
Okay.
Okay, so one-on-one you can do unlimited, but if you want to do some kind of group, then it is limited for 40 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. But I had a feeling I was going to go over that, so I just paid for the extra one. Okay. Who else got a client yesterday?
I didn't get a client, but I did get some, like another real estate agent that I know that needs help opening doors. So
They're going to pay somebody. They would pay you to open a door.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Cool. And not only obviously that's a financial opportunity, but it's also an opportunity, you know, to become close and to show someone else that the type of professional you are and how seriously you take your business and that there's been a number, gosh, almost I would say easily half of the people that are on teams right now in the office earned that slot by doing some form of help, right? Whether it was opening doors or hosting open houses or making some calls or, you know, making a flyer or something simple like that. And based on their tenacity and their dedication and their professionalism, they ended up getting an opportunity. Make sense?
Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, I want to chat. Anything else that we should be celebrating? Any particular needs that anyone has?
I do have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
I was looking to join one of the board of realtors, but one of the links from the market internet, it's broken for the Atlanta board of realtors. I wasn't sure if maybe they changed their name or not.
They did. It's called the Atlanta Realtors Association.
Okay.
But I believe the website is still the same. I think it's abr.org.
Yeah, I had issues getting. I think I actually just had to take the www away, and I was able to access it. But I wasn't going to pay money if I wasn't completely confident that is what it was.
If it were me, I would join the Atlanta North board or the 400 North
400
board.
North. Okay.
And the reason is, I think they're pretty much all the same. And Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but the difference to me is when your board dues renew. My board dues are due now for July 1st versus I think the
ABR is due in like November.
And January is your slow season. And so you're having to fork out a lot of money during a time when, you know, your commissions are down. I mean, that to me, that was important.
Okay. Thanks, Jan.
If you're asking if there is a different offering package from each one, I'm going to tell you an answer that I'm not proud of. I really honestly have no idea. I don't have any idea. I've not been involved in either board at all. Again, that's not a judgment. I've been focused on other things. I do agree that January typically from a statistical standpoint is a little slower and you would need to pay the board dues by then. But I knowing that, you know, there's, you know, kind of some high seasons for real estate and some slower seasons for real estate. Don't just buy into that and say, oh, January is slow. You're telling your brain you're going to have a crappy January, right? Say if I want to prevent January from being slow, then I'm going to go hustle around the holidays and around Thanksgiving when no one else is working, and I'm going to have a lot of listings, right? January is slow because realtors end their year in November a lot of times. So don't buy into the masses that say, you know, it's slow and that's just the way it is. No, there's a lot of people that are making significant money during those days because they went out and worked a little harder because they were taking market share when other agents had decided the year was over, right? There's people now that are like, oh, I guess 2020 is not my year. I'll start again next year, right? Well, 2020 is not going to be your year with that attitude. You're right, right? But yesterday you saw Carrie Veal, who's barely not even been in the business 3 years, and she's on track to make close to $500,000 this year, right? So I actually was on a call yesterday where they said you should be business planning for next year. Your business plan for 2021 should be done by April 1st of 2020. And then July 1st, your organizational chart for the following year should be figured out. And by October, everyone should be hired and operating at full capacity. The reason is because they want January to be rocking, right? Half the time we start January, February with not a lot of business, or even March with not a lot of business, and then we playing catch up all year long. Okay. Okay, anyone else have any questions or anything they want to share?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, I just would like to know more about how to host open houses for other people, and what you should do, because I was listening yesterday to Carrie Veal and all of her tips, and she kind of left out like the main parts of like what you say in an open house from like start to finish, because I've never hosted one before. And,
Okay.
and I would like to do it because I've heard from so many people that it's a great way for new agents to make a lot of money real fast.
I completely agree. You guys should be hosting open houses multiple times. Probably one on Saturday and one on Sunday. This is crunch time. Okay, couple things. Number one is you want to, you could just simply post on Georgia Legacy Group or Roswell's page, hey, I'm looking for an open house to host Sunday. And I would not suggest doing that on Friday. I would suggest doing that on Sunday or Monday, right? Because the more time between the time you get the gig and the time the gig starts, the more that you can work to increase the likelihood of more people coming, okay?
And so the two places you can post for that is the Georgia Legacy Group, and what did you say the other one was?
The Georgia Legacy Group or the Roswell page, Roswell
Okay.
Rocks.
Roswell Rocks.
You could also post in Slack. You could also, you could let me know, and I can, put it out to the top 20% page, right? So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. So first, you got to understand that you're representing the brand of the agent that's giving you the opportunity, right? So the first question is you want to make sure that you're operating the open house the way they want you to operate the open house. So they may have some standards that, how they do it. Like they have certain color balloons, or they put the signs in a certain place, or they do something special on Thursday or whatever, right? So you have to figure out what it is, what their standards are, what their rules are, right? And then beyond that, it's pretty much open. So if they say, oh, I'm not particularly worried about what you do, you just host it open, then you're free to, do door knocking or hang in little, alerts or whatever. You can send me the address and I'll send you the call report, so you can call the 1,500 people that live closest to it. You can send them text messages. I mean, we know all the numbers aren't perfectly accurate, but you can send text messages. You can put your balloons out early that morning. You can invite the neighbors through phone calls, right? Hey, the open house is 2 to 4, but we're going to do a neighbors only from 1 to 2, something like that. And then your conduct inside the home on that day is you have some flexibility there, right? So oftentimes I don't think it's really appropriate to, have the person walk in and you drill them for contact information and a buyer brokerage agreement and follow them from room to room. But that's not what Carrie was alluding to yesterday. What she was alluding to is, how did you get here? How did you find the home, right? What are you looking for? And you point out a couple of really important things. You say, hey, maybe you got some kind of giveaway. You give away a, I don't know, a little coffee card or something like that, for people to give their full contact information, right? You can offer your mobile app. You can let people know. Remember, Aubrey has talked about, what is separate. More than likely, when somebody comes to an open house, they are going to other open houses that day. So now you are competing with the other agents that are hosting the other open houses. So the question is like, what are you doing to stand apart? Are you writing a handwritten note? Are you offering your app? Are you, you know, giving away something to the kids that might be there? Are you, you know, are you smiling? Are you respectful? Do you have all the appropriate sanitation things there? When do you follow up? How do you follow up? Right? So rather than sending a handwritten card on Monday morning that they'll get on Thursday, you know, do you send them a little video text Sunday night to say, hey, this is Andrew. I'm so glad that you came in. You know, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope you'll, you know, take the time to download my app. You can, Aubrey said something about like, you know, oftentimes I'm calling buyers and sellers all day long doing my job, and I work in a group of 40 coaching students in an office at 235 agents. Oftentimes we come across listings that haven't hit the market yet. So if I were to find something that, you know, if I knew exactly what you were looking for, I might be able to find something before it hits the market. If that is the case, would it offend you if I reached out to you and told you about it? Right, which is kind of like, would you like to have lunch today? I mean, that's like an intelligence test, right? Of course I'd like to have lunch. Of course I'd like you to call me if you find something that I don't know about, right? So that forges that relationship right off the bat. So again, the first priority is to make sure that you follow the standards of the team in which you're helping. And the second priority is that you have enough time to penetrate that market as much as possible and let the world know that you're hosting an open house, right? Because whether you get 3 people there or 1 person there or 23 people there, you're still dedicating a couple hours on Sunday. So you may as well make the most of it. Meanwhile, everything that you do can be duplicated. So everything that I just explained, you can say, well, on Monday I do this, on Tuesday I do that, on Wednesday I do this, right? And it becomes this big event. And the goal, quite frankly, is to add people to your database, right? Buyer prospects, neighbors, seller prospects, etc. So I know you're a lot like me. I want to know within 5 seconds if I get a chance to do business with that person. We got to calm it down, right? Let them walk through the house without a pen in their hand, okay? So just ask them, you know.
I feel like I need to go on video now because.
What's that, Heather?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Okay. So the tendency is to kind of attack. Hey, Brooke. The tendency is to kind of attack the prospect as they're walking in the door. Hey, you got an agent? Hey, can I work with you? Hey, my coach said I need to sign this. You need to sign this, right? Back off. You just ask them questions about their experience, right? You know, what are you looking for? Why is that important to you? Do you have any questions? Hey, did you see the tiling work they did in the bathroom? Or hey, did you see the gazebo that they got in the backyard? Or hey, you know, I see you have children at, you know, is this in the school district that you're looking for? Is there another school district you're curious about? You know, any of that kind of thing. You want to ask very open-ended questions, speak with a smile, offer value, right? And then get enough contact information so you can deliver that value. Make sense? And then wow them after the fact, right? So again, if most agents, if they're lucky, will send a handwritten note and then it'll arrive on Thursday. By the time Thursday's rolled around, they've already got a video text from you, a handwritten note from you, another call with a couple of other homes that are similar that they might like to see in person, and maybe like, hey, I think there's going to be a home popping on the market here in a couple of weeks. It's got 4 beds and 3 baths, and I know it has that big Finch yard you were talking about. It's in Woodstock. Would that be a match for you? Oh my gosh, this Andrew dude, he's coming up with houses I don't even know about. I think I want to work with him. Before you know it, they call you and say, hey, isn't there something I got to sign to say that you're going to be my guy? And you're like, man, this stuff is awesome. Makes sense?
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that.
One of the ways to get people to come back and talk to you is when they come in the door, say, hey, would you mind registering? My clients would like to know who have been here. And it's easy now that COVID-19 is around because you can get them to register just for that alone. And then
Yeah.
tell them, say, once you look around, would you come back and give us some feedback? And that's a way to start that conversation back up when they're done looking at the house.
Registering, you mean just on like a sheet of paper that says like their name, number, email, and stuff?
Mailing
Well,
address too.
I do it through Command now. You can do a landing page for your open house, and they just sign up right there. You know, they register, they sign in. I say register, they sign in, and then they come back and
How do
you ask them to come back and give you feedback.
So
And
is it something you pull up on your,
Andrew, on item number 47. Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Heather, what did you say?
Item number 47 on 3.0 outlines how to do that on Marty Miller.
Okay, and I posted, okay, let's back up for a second. That was a lot of content in that 3-word sentence. Okay, so Marty Miller is a guy on Facebook who, he's like, I believe he's a regional tech trainer out of Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And he has been doing these things called a 66-day challenge. He just started version 4.0 yesterday, I believe. And I posted the link on that. It's like about 5 to 10 minute videos that are posted every single day that are teaching you new components of command. So what Heather's suggesting is if you friend him, Marty Miller, or follow him, whatever, on Facebook, you can get access to all the old challenges. And you can also Google, like, setting up an open house landing page, and you'll see exactly how to do that. And then they're in your command system, and you've got their address, so they can start getting the neighborhood nurtures and that kind of thing. Heather, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, when you do the landing page, it also like lets you know where it came from, because it enters it directly to command, so it shows you that it was from that open house, which is nice for doing that. And I've actually, if they don't, rather than asking them right away to sign into it when they walk in, I've been carrying my iPad around with me, and I have the landing page up on my iPad. And it's not like I follow them through the house, but if I try to stay on the same level. And if I hear them talking about anything, I put the notes in the notes section, whether it's a school district or if they have a question for the HOA. And then I enter that into that field. And when they come downstairs, I said, so I hear that you know, these are concerns you have. This is your school. This is some information. And I can get back to you and I can answer your questions if you fill in this information right here. And that's what they put in their name and phone number. Because, and then I can follow up directly with information that way. And I put notes in there about the wife's name. I put notes in about the kids. I want to make sure I have everybody's information correctly. So the landing page doesn't ask for their mailing address. That's the only thing I don't like about it. There's no mailing address field. So you have to add that.
Okay, you should be able to, I would think you should be able to add that as to tweak it, but. Okay.
It's a widget. It's just you drop and drag and that's what it is. I haven't seen a way to edit that. But Andrew, if you go on the one thing, WhatsApp, I have that link for that spreadsheet. The Marty Miller 3.0 challenge is one of the tabs. And you could just go to item number 47.
Okay, and go ahead and look at that link because we're talking about it, but I would go back to start on 4.0. It just started yesterday. Okay, and it's just, like I said, a 5 or 10 minute video where you're learning about command each day. Okay, that's really good. And guys, don't be nervous that, like, Heather wrote down, oh, the dog's name is Sam or whatever. Like, we're getting recorded. How crazy, can you hear me? How crazy is it that, let's say I send an email that says, hey, Heather, here's my flight itinerary to Orlando. And I hit send, and the next thing I know, I got rental car ads for Orlando in my mailbox, right? If I click on, let's say I got a Facebook ad that's for a mattress or something, and I click on that because I want to know how much it costs, or I want to know something else about it, And all of a sudden now I get Facebook ads for them and 6 of their competitors, right? People are like softening up to the idea that like it's not intrusive, it's actually helpful, right? Make sense? Okay.
I wanted to say one thing. If you know
Yeah.
where they live, if you know that they're what city they're in, like Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, whatever, when if you say, "Hey, where do you live now?" And they tell you, they don't have to tell you their address. Fast people search. I find so much stuff on there.
Right. Fast people search. Or you could also set them up on you could go into Sandy Springs and click, 15 neighborhoods around the center of Sandy Springs, or if you know they're in South Sandy Springs near Chastain Park or North Sandy Springs near the river or something, you can click on a bunch of neighborhoods around there and set them up on a nurture and let them tell you whether that's relevant or not, right? Also, I was on a call yesterday. I'll give you a couple more ideas. How can we be using Zoom in a more creative way for our database, right? My daughter has been invited to some Zoom parties where like the kids have gotten like a little paper bag that's been dropped off at our house, right? And obviously they're doing the same thing with the 20 other kids that are coming to the party. And it's got like a cookie, so everyone's eating their cookie at the same time, and they're doing like a little coloring craft and somebody's leading them through it, or there's a cooking class or something like that. I heard a story yesterday about people doing a magic show. So you hire a magician, and the magician does his thing on Zoom, and all the kids in your neighborhood or in your database of the families in your database are invited to this thing, right? So get creative. A lot of people do their business through events, or events are a big part of their business, right? How can we take that to a digital level, right? And I also heard this thing on a podcast this morning that says you avoid competition by being authentic, right? So if I try to do every single thing that Kathy Ray does in her business to grow her business, then there's not much of a difference between the two of us. If I do some soul searching and try to figure out what am I really good at, right? Do I really like calling people? Do I really like teaching? Do I really like being in the room with them or whatever? Like, what am I really good at? And think through, how can I use this skill and put the gas down real hard on it and create a unique value proposition, and then go kill the marketplace with it, right? Let's see if I wrote down any other ideas yesterday. Any thoughts on that? No? Everyone listening?
Well, something else too, about what was previously asked about, if you don't know where they live. If you have their first and last name and you know like generally where they live, like the city, you can go on Remind, the app.
Yep.
And you can type in their name on there and it will pop it up most likely.
And I also
that's only if they own property.
Yeah.
If they're
If
renting.
they already own, yeah.
So I also own I don't own, but I pay for a subscription that that we use for some recruiting stuff. And it's like, if I know their name and if I know their address, then I can usually get their cell phone number. And if I know if I know one or two pieces of information, I can pretty much most of the time get the rest of it. And also, we're still trying to get that group together. I know there's
Hey, Bill, you're muted.
You're muted and you're frozen.
that app called Forewarn that will tell you. Why is everyone laughing? Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, you were frozen and muted. It was kind of funny. You were.
Oh, I'm letting like I said, I'm in the car trying to let this plumber in, dealing with 2 different water leaks at a rental condo of mine.
Can you start back to the part where you find the information if you have a couple pieces?
Yeah, it's a paid thing. So just send me what you got, and I'll look into it. I'll have my assistant search it for you.
Okay.
So like Julian, once every couple of days, he'll send me, hey, can you look at this guy and see if you can get any more data on him, or something like that.
What's the name of the service, Bill?
What is the name of the service? I'll have to ask my assistant. I just pay the bill. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of expensive though. It's like $140 a month. To be honest, I can't recall it at the moment. But I'll send it to you guys this afternoon. But in the meantime, if you have any, you guys can just use my account for it, or not use my account, but just tell me what you need, and I'll see if I can gather some more information for you that'll be helpful. So if like you're looking for the contact information of a expired listing, or you're trying to get the cell phone number of whatever it may be, just let me see if I can dig around for it too.
Awesome.
And then don't forget that we're still trying to get a group rate for that app that Aubrey talked about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was called Forewarn. So that, I don't know where that information is coming from. I think it's coming from like some type of private investigators database. But you can pretty much get their blood type on that thing. So if you're interested in that, it's an, if you look up, I think it's spelled FOREWARN.com, forewarn.com. It's an app, and I think that it charges you per inquiry. But if we get a bunch of people together, and we're trying to get a bunch of people from Georgia Legacy Group together to really drastically reduce those rates. So if you have some interest in that, let Lucy know, and she's putting together the list of who's interested. Okay.
Bill, the Georgia Legacy Group, that is on Facebook.
There is a Facebook group for the Georgia Legacy. Yeah. So Georgia Legacy, what is it called? Georgia Legacy Mastermind, or GLG Mastermind?
And that's for our office?
That is for the 3 offices. So Roswell Rocks has a page. That's just us. And then there's the Georgia Legacy Group, which is the Alpharetta office, and the Chattahoochee North office, which is over in Peachy Corners area.
Okay, thank you.
Heather just said she got an email from Lucy yesterday about $12 a month.
Regardless of how much regardless of how many searches you have?
Yep.
Wow, that's cheap, guys. That's so cheap. I'm paying for something that's not probably even as good. I'm gonna have my assistant really look into that, because I'm paying 10 times that amount.
What is that again? What is
Forewarn? Forewarn is an app that it's basically like you can type in somebody's name. Like we typed in Cheryl Sidoti's name. She was the regional director of the Southeast region, and we saw like her date of birth, the home she owned.
You're muted again.
Can't hear.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to sort out like so many things this morning. I appreciate you being flexible.
It's 9:05.
What's that?
I said it's 9:05. You've done your duty.
We're running over.
We're running over. I don't feel the pinch so bad because Aubrey hasn't knocked on my door to come to the leadership meeting. So anyway, Forewarn is a system that it looks like we can get for as little as $12 a month. So if you have any interest in that, let Lucy know. And I'm sure you can Google it to get some more information about what it includes and how accurate all the information is. But it was pretty impressive what I saw the other day. Okay. Do not forget the Growth and Emerging Mastermind is today from 4 to 5. I have tons of things that I'd like to talk to you guys about. So feel free to sign into that. If you are not part of the Growth or Emerging group, which is like 4 units and higher per year, you're more than welcome to attend, but I want to keep the content to things that are most relevant to that group. Okay?
Okay.
Have an awesome day.
Thank you as well.
Let's go.
Thanks.